And it's good to reflect on our knits sometimes, right? And to figure out, what did I like about this? What maybe I didn't like about it? Was it worth it? Welcome to the French Knot. This is my little corner of the internet where I love to talk about all the yarny, knitty, fibery stuff that we have on our needles. I'm coming to you from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is nestled up in the Pacific Northwest. We're getting a little bit of fall in the air, and so I'm trying to represent that right now. I live here with my fiance and my 3 French bulldogs, which you may hear in the background, and if that bothers you, I'm really sorry. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. I bought a new mic with the hopes that some of that sound would be drowned out. But if I don't let them in here, they're just going to bark. And so we have a choice. We either let the dogs in here and they snore and play a little bit, or I lock them out and they bark. So I chose the licking and the snorting and the snoring. So I hope that's okay. I hope it's not too distracting. Like I said, I'll do my best to keep them quiet, but what do you do? So today we have a little bit of a different podcast for you. I think I mentioned that I've only been knitting for a couple of years. So I wanted to do a roundup video today of my favorite knits that I've done in the last 12 months. I split it up into groups. So I have a couple of my favorite tank tops, a couple of my favorite tees, my favorite cardigans, and then one favorite accessory. I decided on 10, but you might get a bonus at the end. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, how we're doing for time. But I just thought it'd be fun to see what I've been doing and see where it takes us. So with that being said, the first thing that we're going to talk about is my Thea. This is a pattern rather by Suzanne Mueller. It's a pretty simple pattern. It's knit up on a US size 6. I knit it up in a medium, which is 38-inch bust. It's knit top down, basically. So you start at the back, and you kind of start back in here, and then you knit like a square, basically, with the provisional cast on. And then you add the shoulders and the neckline, and then you come up and over, and then knit the front of the shoulders, and then at that point eventually like you do some increases and join at the neckline, and then knit down doing some armhole shaping, and then you join, and then you get to go in the round and then bind off at the end. And then you pick up stitches for the neckline, of course, in the arm holes rather. Tricky things on this one, not much. Yeah, it was a pretty simple knit. The one thing that I didn't do, she recommended picking up, like crocheting and then picking up from the crochet. And what that would do is give you more of a reinforced edge, I'm assuming, at the stitches, but I didn't want that. I wanted it really drapey, and I think it turned out fine. I knit it up in Sandnes Garn in the color Kitt. Now Kitt is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and then 14% linen. And you can just see how much drape it has. It is lovely. Now this one of the reasons I included it in my favorites is, of course, it's great, but the pattern is wonderful, but it's also very versatile. So I was able to wear it all year. Basically, it's year-round knit. Now, it's great for summer because it has that cotton, linen, viscose blend, right? But in the winter, you just throw on a jacket or a blazer, or even in the fall, you throw on a jacket, blazer, and you could wear it in an office setting very easily, and same in the spring. And it's neutral enough that I think it transcends the seasons. Anyway, that's my opinion. I think it transcends the seasons. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that's the Thea top by Suzanne Mueller in the size medium. All right, next up, again in the tank top category, we have the Soho top by Cadre. Okay, there we go. Now this one is a similar looking top at first glance, but on closer glance, you'll see it has a garter stitch pattern. You start, and the construction on it is pretty simple. We'll get to that in a second. It's knit up in US size 6 in a size 4, which is about 39.5 inches. You start up at the top, you pick up, or rather cast on 3 provisional stitches here, knit a little bit, of the back and put that on hold. And then same with here. You just have these little tabs that you end up with. And then you add on stitches for the back. And then you knit down, and then you start doing the armhole increases. And then you pick back up on that provisional cast on and do the same in the front. Knit down in the garter stitch until you get to the armholes. And then you knit in the round. So it actually gets harder when you get knitting in the round, because then you have to keep track of which you're knitting and which you're purling. So you did have to keep track. It became more of a mindful knit once you get past the armholes, which is counterintuitive. Usually it's the opposite. One thing that's kind of cool on this one is it has a slip stitch edge. Now with garter stitch, that's really an important feature because it gives some structural integrity. I thought that was really a unique way to do that. Now this is knit up in Purl Soho Sweetgrass. Sweetgrass is 65% cotton, 35% alpaca. And it's a natural color. And it's called their Heirloom. And again, it's just a very versatile color. I think it transcends the seasons. And similar to the Thea top, you could really wear it year round depending on how you style it. And again, I have been wearing it all year round. So it's really turned into quite the versatile piece. Now, the little difference with this one, in the summer, I probably wouldn't wear it on a really hot day because it is, with the alpaca, it is a little bit warmer. And it's fingering weight yarn, but it's held double. So just so that you know, it's held double. It's knit up on a US size 6. And it could get a little bit warm on a hot day. But for every other season, it's wonderful, or on a cooler summer day. So, yeah. So there's the Soho top by Cadre. Sorry about that. There you go. I hear the dog snoring already, so I really apologize. Like, again, it just becomes part of my background noise, and so I really apologize. But like I said, if I kick them out, they're just going to bark. So we're going with it. I'm really hoping it's not too distracting. So next up, I have an Andrea Mowry pattern, and it's the Hey Sailor. And I wore the crap out of this sweater. Now look at these buttons. I wore it before on the podcast, but you didn't get to see the buttons. I'm going to show you these adorable buttons. Are they not adorable? Oh, so cute. So this was a labor of love, for sure. It's knit up on a US 2.5. On fingering weight, mosaic pattern. Knit flat. So you start out with a provisional cast on, knitting bottom up. And it's back and forth, guys, because look, it's a cardigan. So you start with the provisional cast on, and there's a million stitches on that. And on the best of days, it can get finicky. And oh my gosh, with that many stitches on that small of gauge, I think I had to start over like 3 times. Yeah, it was frustrating. So I started over, and then I started knitting. I knit the whole band and thought, that's too loose. It looks sloppy. Ripped it out, did it again, got the band looking good. And then when I started doing the mosaic, this part right here, it didn't seem tight enough. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think I got probably that far, had to rip back. I'm like, that has to be pulled tighter. So these 3 stitches, and then when you went on the next part, it had to be tight in order to look good. But look how, I mean, that's a tight gauge. I don't know if you can appreciate it, but I love the finished product, and I wear the crap out of it. I always wear it with this as the back, and then this is the front. Really, it's a summer, spring, fall top. I don't think I'll be wearing it in the winter. It's knit up in Knitting McPurley's Fiji fingering in the creamy peachy color is Jovis, and then I believe it's Rosette. No, Roxette. Roxette is that darker peachy orange color. And the yarn is lovely. That was not the problem. And then the buttons. I gotta show you these buttons again. So these I found on Etsy. See those buttons? Oh, they're so cute. It's by RibbonSmittn. I wanted to tell you, because it's always, for me, it's always hard. Do you guys have a hard time finding buttons? Like sometimes I just have a hard time sourcing the button that I want. The one that gives it the look that I want. Because I mean, I could have picked out a plain button and it would have been fine. But I feel like this button just adds so much to it. What do you think? Was the juice worth the squeeze on this one? I sure hope so. I hope you think so. I do. I think it was. But oofta meda. This was a labor of love. Now, I knitted up in a size 3, which was 40 inches circumference with the intended positive ease of 4 to 8 inches. So I got about 4 inches of positive ease. I felt like it was a little bit more when it was all said and done. I don't care. I love how it fits. I'm not complaining at all. I adore it. So that's the Hey Sailor by Andrea Mowry. And just know that it's definitely a labor of love, and it's not going to be a quick on-off project. And you might want some other things in between. Because, for me anyway, cotton is kind of hard on the hands. This is a blend, right? It's 50% cotton, 50% wool, that Fiji fingering. But still, it kind of got my hands like, and I think maybe it was a tight gauge too. The combination was a little bit harder on my hands. And so I had to have several projects going at the same time to kind of take a break from it. But worth it. So next up, this has gotten a lot of wear. This is my FlutterButt shirt by Jessie Maed. Look at her. Isn't she fun? This yellowish color is kind of one of my signature colors. I do a lot of it. But this is knit up on a US 8 in a size 2, which is the medium. And the bust circumference is 36 to 38 inches. And it fits great. Now with this one, it's a little bit different. You start with the provisional cast on at the bottom, and then you're knitting up in the round for about that far. And then you break off into flat. And you'll notice you're going to be doing a lot of flat knitting in stockinette. Join a 3-needle bind off at the shoulders. You pick up stitches for the neckband and rib those. You go back down to the provisional cast on and knit down to knit the ruffle. And you're just kind of increasing as you go. That's how you get that ruffle look. And then you pick up around the arms and then put the ruffles on there. Now this was knit up in Knitting McPurley's Slub in the colorway Trinket. Now, slub yarn, it has slubs. You see that? And the slubs, they don't knit smoothly. It's not like regular wool. And so you do fight with those slubs a little bit. And where it really becomes an issue is on the cast on, as you can imagine, and the cast off, I'm sure you can imagine, and picking up stitches and any of the fiddly work. It really becomes, yeah, you really question your life choices. However, the end product, I think, is very much worth it. What do you guys think? Yeah, I really like that. Really like her. Now she gets a ton of wear, mostly in the summer, and I think I'll be wearing her into the fall. But again, it's not really winter because it's really not conducive to wearing something over it. It's meant to be a standalone. So anyway, that is the FlutterButt by Jessie Maed. Next up is my Alpine Bloom by Caitln Hunter. Look at her. Okay, so this is knit up in a size 2, which was 40 inches, intended with a 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, which gave me about 4 inches. It's knit up on a US 4. So I used dyed in the wool is the contrast, and it's in the snow cone colorway. Isn't that pretty? It's kind of fluorescent-y, and it's not my usual vibe, but I love it. And then the main color is Farmer Daughter Fibers Foxy Lady, which is a silk merino blend in the color Kinnick, I think. I am so sorry. Candace, if you're listening to this, I am so sorry. I'm butchering that name. It's kind of that grungy green that I go for, and I feel like it makes it wearable for me. So I'm not supposed to wear bright colors according to my color analysis. I'm more of a fall, which is definitely this is my color. It works. What do you guys think? Do you think it works? The only regret I have, it doesn't keep me from wearing it, but I wish I would have done more color management so that the flowers were more of the pink and then the foliage was more of the green. I don't know if it makes that big of a difference, but it's still beautiful. Now the construction on this is uber cool. So you start with the cast on at the collar, and you cast on in this lace pattern. I'm going to show you. See, I'll show you there you go. Do you see that? And it took me a couple times to get it right. I'll admit it. I'm not too proud. But I got it right, and I was like, okay, now we move on. Then you do the color work with, and it's a circular yoke. And so you're doing the increases within the color work. So it makes it pretty simple. And that went pretty well. And then you separate the sleeves and do the body and cast off, and that's all good. And then these sleeves. So what you do for the sleeves is you don't cast off when you're done. You put them on hold, and then you cast on this number of stitches and knit the lace from here to here and then graft them together. So it turned out really well, but that was my first time grafting a sleeve to a sweater. So I felt like I got some new skills with that one, and I do love how it turned out. And as you can see, there are short rows, so it helps with the fit of the t-shirt. I really do love that. Anyway, that is Caitlin Hunter's Alpine Blue. Next, we're going to go into cardigans. Now, we're in the season for cardigans, and so I've really been getting some wear out of these. One of my favorites is this DRK Every Day by Andrea Mowry. Now, there are just so many features to this sweater that I love. Number one, the color. She is stunning. This is Vienna Mae's Sport Nouveau, and it's in Quillicot. Andrea did such a nice job on the design of this. The increases and decreases on for the raglan. Look at that. Look at that detail. And it goes all the way down the sweater on the front and back. So on this one, you cast on with the double folded collar. Then you go right into the raglan increases. And then you separate for sleeves, and it becomes pretty simple from there. It is an applied double knit button band. I love doing that double knit button band. Like, it isn't the most fun thing, but man, is it satisfying how well it turns out. And these buttons are just buttons I sourced off of Amazon. I'm actually not in love with the buttons. They're a little bit heavier than I like for buttons. So I am considering changing the buttons. So if you have any great buttons that you think would look fantastic on this sweater, let me know. I want something a little lighter. So I was thinking of maybe some wood, like some bleached wood, maybe. I don't think brown is the right color for it, but maybe something that's bleached white, but it's wood. It's a knit up in a US 5 in a size 3 with 4 to 8 inches of positive ease, and that I'm getting about that. And there she is. So I just love her. Absolutely love her. And I think this one is really nice because it's kind of dressy. So I wear it to work a lot. It's good. All right. Next is my step-by-step. What do you think? This is probably my favorite all-time ever cardigan that I've knit. Hands down. Might be one of my favorite of anything I've ever knit. So this is by Florence Mueller, and it's a raglan construction, top down, with a double knit button band. Stand up. I'll show you how nice that button. And then these are the buttons that I chose. Sorry, I'm getting right up in your business. Pretty simple buttons, but they're cute. Her buttonhole construction is unique. She has a technique, and I want to go back and rewatch it. She has a video tutorial that's available to anybody who has YouTube. So if you ever want to know how to do a button band without cutting, you have to cut. Her tutorial will show you how. And so that was amazing. Just the fact that she puts out those step-by-step videos, so that alone was worth it to me. Because I hadn't done a double knit. This was my first time I did the double knit button band. I think my first buttonholes. Yeah, my first buttonholes. And she goes through it all. And so I felt so confident going through that. There was nothing left to question. I really appreciated that. It's knit up on a US 6, and I knit the size C, which gives you 5 inches of positive ease, and I think that's perfect for me. I knit it up in Spin Cycle by Dream State in Salty Dog. So this is a colorway that my fiance surprised me with. And I was like, I like the colors a lot. Like this is my color wheel. But he bought quite a bit of it because he's just a sweetheart. And I'm like, that's like a lot of skeins of that. That would be like so many projects using, a skein or two for an accent color. So I was like, I'm going to use half of it to make, actually a little bit more than half, to make this sweater. And I'll just have a couple skeins left over to use on another project. And I am so glad that I did. I have zero regrets about this sweater. I love it. And the thing is, you can wear it. I mean, it's definitely a fall-ish vibe. But you can wear it with the green, you can wear it with orange, you can wear it with cream, you can wear it with brown, you can wear it, I mean, all the fall colors look fantastic with it. It's dressy enough to wear to work for me anyway. I'm a nurse practitioner and I own my own practice, and so I get to wear what I want. But that being said, I think you could wear it in an office setting. But it's also casual. You feel relaxed and comfortable. You could also wear it on football Sunday. It's great. So, Step by Step by Florence Mueller. Highly, highly recommend. All right. This sweater. I'm not sure if I love this sweater because of the sweater or because I put so much work into it that I have to love it. I don't know. It could be either way. So, here we have the Tessellated Pullover by Andrea Mowry. I have to say, sometimes her patterns are a lot of work. They're not complicated, they're not hard, but there's a lot to them. I will say that. But the fit and the outcome is often worth it. That's the thing about Andrea. The work is there, but the end product, anyway, this was definitely a product knit. I wanted the product, and so I kept going. So this has knit up on a US 4, so that's not too bad. And I did it in a size 2, so it has, I think for me, about 4 inches of positive ease. And it's a bottom-up construction, 2x2 tubular cast-on. So you have to do the tubular cast-on, and then you have to rearrange the stitches to do the ribbing. So there's an extra layer of work to do on that. And it turned out all right. I think that was my first time doing the 2x2 tubular cast-on. I was like, oof, oof. That's a lot. That's a lot of stitches. That's a lot of rearranging. That's a lot of thinking. But I think it turned out okay. And then you're knitting bottom up, and you are knitting with 3 different types of yarn or skeins of yarn at all times because it's mosaic. So you have to keep all the yarns connected, but you're only knitting with one at a time. So we have the kind of maroonish color is Moondrake wool, 100% wool, in the sport weight yarn in the colorway wine, which looks just like wine. And then in Spin Cycle, dyed in the wool, we have the House Blend, which is a really pretty color changing yarn. And then the mohair is Fuzzy Peach Fibers in the colorway Rose Quartz. It's their feather base. I did not really understand the trials that I was going to face with this project in regards to yarn management, and made the choice to use it as a travel project on the airplane. I wish I would have taken pictures. You know, that little pocket in front of you, the seat pocket. Yeah, I was using that to hold the yarn that I wasn't currently knitting with. So at all times I had 2 skeins of yarn sitting in there and one on my lap. And they were getting all kinds of tangled every time. Oh my God. So it starts out in the round, and that actually goes pretty quick. But then when you get into the flat part where you separate for sleeves, you end up having to go back and forth, and you end up having to do a lot of yarn management for that and a lot of untangling. It was a product knit. I can't say that I completely enjoyed any part of the process, but I love the end result, and I wear it all the time last fall, and it's getting to be fall again now, so time to pull it back out. And I know I'll be wearing it again, wearing the bejesus out of it this fall as well. But look at the drape, even on that. You wouldn't think it would be that drapey with those yarns, but it really is. So again, that's a Tessellated Pullover by Andrea Mowry. Now she also has a Tessellated vest and a Tessellated cardigan. Now, I'm just imagining, because I haven't actually bought the pattern or looked at too many details, but based on my experience with the Tessellated Pullover, my guess is the cardigan will probably be the hardest one of those because it's flat. The whole thing is flat. So I feel like, oh, and you have it's a V-neck, and so you're going to have decreasing edging the whole way. I saw hers in person at the Farmer Daughter Fibers retreat, the Makers in the Big Sky retreat, and it's gorgeous. But I just had flashbacks to this, and I was like, oh yeah, there's no way. No, I'm not over this one yet. I haven't recovered, so I'm not ready. And it'll be a while before I ever consider casting that one on. So just know that about this one, that there's a lot to it. Not a simple knit. Not a simple knit. It's okay. All right. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we still have Andrea Mowry, but we have her DRK Everyday, which was a much simpler pattern. It started out with the 2x2 tubular cast on, but it is top down, which is a little unusual for Andrea. She started with a top down construction, circular yoke. So we had the wrap and turn short rows and increases. I think I did a relatively good job with those. It was my first time doing the wrap and turn. I think they turned out okay. What I love about this sweater, a couple things. Number one, I love the fit. Like, it's just drapey, comfortable. It just feels like the cozy sweater that you want to slip into at the end of the day. But it's also dressy enough to put on some jewelry and dress it up for work. And it's knit up in a sport weight on a US 5 for the main fabric. So it's not a thick fabric. So you could wear it underneath something if you wanted to in the winter. But this color is another reason I love it so much. So at Flock Fiber Festival, I discovered a yarn called Yarn Nouveau. And this is their sport weight. There we go. It's their merino. But do you see all the dimension in that? It's not multiple skeins of yarn held together or anything. It's not marled. It's just dimensional. So over here, it has so much dimension to it that I just fell in love with the yarn. And it's soft, and it's coppery brown with this green undertone. So it's perfect for apparently for my skin tone. And she gets a ton of wear. And again, we have that Italian bind off, which requires the rearranging of the stitches and all the things. But yeah, but in the end, this one wasn't too fiddly. It has a great fit. I love the color, and I wear the crap out of it. Okay, one other thing I'm going to say about this. I don't know how she did it. Because to be honest with you, that circular tee I have by Caitlin Hunter, that fits pretty good. But most of my circular sweaters, with the exception of these two, don't fit me the best. I feel like I get kind of swallowed up in them. Does that make sense? I don't have very broad shoulders, so I don't know if that's part of the problem. Like, I'm kind of narrow here. But I have and I love Kuda Vakika, but I have her Dirty Caramel sweater, and it's beautiful. But it just feels like it swallows me up a little bit. Does anybody else have that problem? Or do you know why that is? Am I doing something wrong with the circular yokes? I don't know. Because these two fit good. The one by Caitlin Hunter and the one by Andrea Mowry fit me good, but most of them don't. But yeah, I would knit this DRK every day. I would totally knit that again. Zero hesitation. In tons of colors. I would do all the colors. All the fall colors anyway. So number 10 is the Zipper Sweater Light by Petit Knit. There she is. Now, this is the folded over collar. So you do a provisional cast on. I think she uses Judy's Magic Cast On. And you end up with a folded over collar. And then you have raglan increases, separate for sleeves. Pretty basic. But I knit it up in this, oh God, it's just plush. It's this Eco Baby. Eco Baby is 68% alpaca and 32% organic cotton. And it's naturally marled, but man, is it soft. Whew, baby, she's soft. and squishy. It's knit up in E8S. That's the colorway. I felt like with this color, a regular zipper just wasn't going to be it. And so I went for a search on Etsy for a zipper. And look what I found. Isn't that cute? Don't you just love the Purl zipper? And man, it's a smooth zipper. Like, yeah, she's smooth. I do love that. It's Mosin handmade. I'll link that in the description. She has a bunch of stuff for hand makers. She has some clasps for purses and handbags. Just a bunch of really unique things, but I thought this was super unique. Now this is nice. You can wear it like in the summer. You can just throw it on a cool evening. It has that cotton in it, so it's a little bit more breathable, but it's not quite as hot and insulating. In the fall, it's easy to throw on as a standalone. In the winter, throw it on over a t-shirt and then use it as a layering piece. And you could even wear it underneath a blazer or a jacket for more of a preppy look. So I think that that's a really versatile knit. Now I will say, with the alpaca, it does get a little stretched. So I feel like it's a little bit big on me right now. I'm going to reblock it and see if I can kind of unblock some of the stretch out of it and see if I can get it to fit a little snugger again. But I still absolutely love this. And it's such a cozy knit for lazy days, like a day when you're sitting around watching TV or snuggling up watching football on a Sunday afternoon. It's a good, soft, fuzzy, cozy knit. But with a little Purl zipper, you definitely can dress her up. So that is the Petit knit. Now, let me talk a little bit about sizing on that. It was knit up on US 6, and I knit the size small, which was supposed to give you 7 3/4 inch positive ease, but I feel like it's a little bit more than that, and so hence the need to kind of maybe reblock it and undo some of that alpaca stretch if I can. Both alpaca and cotton stretch, so it stands to reason that it would have stretched out. I still love it, but I'm going to try to love it even more. All right, so that's by Petit Knit. It's a zipper sweater light. Now, that was 10. I have an honorable mention, and the reason I didn't include it is because I've already talked about this one on another podcast, but I just don't feel like a top 10 would be complete without this, because this is probably my all-time favorite knit, and it's an accessory. Who would have thought? But it's The Night Shift by Andrea Mowry. And we've talked about this a little bit in the story behind it, but my brother just picked out 6 random skeins of Spin Cycle Dream State at the Flock Fiber Festival last year. And I just put it together, and this is what we came up with. Now, I didn't talk about the construction on it last time. So it's knit up on a US 8 and with an intended size of 65 by 31. So we're close to that. I was a little bit tight on my bind off edge, the I-cord edge, and so I didn't quite get the dimensions I was supposed to. It was close, but this edge was a little bit tight. Zero regrets though. I mean, that's just if I do it again, I'd do it different. It's a sideways construction, so I started here, and you knit these 2 I-cords as you go, these 2 edges, and then you just continue to grow and grow into this triangular shape, and then at the end you just bind off. There's no decreasing, you just keep going bigger, 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 and then you bind off with this I-cord edge. So I'm going to show you, I bought this off of Etsy. So you'll see in these pictures that I'm going to include up here, you'll see that I'm wearing it around, this is how I wear it in the airport. I wear it around my shoulders, fastened with this. I don't really like it around my neck. I think I look like I have no neck, and I have this big fat head sitting on top of no neck. And so I'm like, this doesn't work. I look ridiculous. But I found if I wear it over my shoulders and then just attach it like this, I can make all my favorite parts show. And yeah, that's how I wear it. And then when I get warm, I can just kind of take it off and lay it on my lap or beside me on the airplane seat, and no harm, no foul. So anyway, those are my 10 favorite knits of the last 12 months with a bonus. I had so much fun, you guys, coming up with my favorites and, sitting back and thinking about it and revisiting the construction. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it's good to reflect on our knits sometimes, right? And to figure out, what did I like about this? What maybe I didn't like about it? Was it worth it? That type of thing. So I would love to hear what your favorite knits are. So you heard what my all-time favorite knit was right here. What's your all-time favorite knit? I'd love it if you comment below and let me know, because maybe that'll be my next favorite knit. Anyway, I'm Tawnya. This is a French knot. Thank you so much for joining me. If you had a good time today like I did, I would just really love if you would like and subscribe so that you can be notified next time I put out a video and we can spend some more time together. Until then, happy knitting!